is figuring out how to share information across the nonprofit community so that people can take advantage of that for the services they're delivering, so that interchange gets going.
I think one of the things that you see right here is that in Oscar's case, there's data that are being created. There are data being created that have multiple uses across, just like the ones you mentioned. I think in the case Carol talked about, the cassava disease, those data are being created for a community of people that have an intense need to use those data. Right? But people that you also said that other agencies within their human network, right, networks, are actually making use of those data and of those techniques to then feed into new endeavors that they want to do. Right? So I think maybe the part of your question that's interesting to me anyway is that there are networks of interest that are actually making use of the data and starting to, and it's almost natural, right? And then you can imagine that expanding and pushing as more people find connections and niches and somebody thinks of something new, you'll see that kind of innovation grow. I just can't see why that wouldn't happen. But I think you're seeing it already. I mean, I think Oscar's case is perfect. Sorry.
Hi, Amy Ragsdale with HIV/AIDS Network Coordination, and my group works with clinical trials networks running clinical trials across the world. And there's an immense amount of data exchange going on in these clinical trials and involving all continents. And I'm wondering if you could speak a little bit to any challenges you've had relating to governments, or if you had to have established relationship with governments to establish the infrastructure. So any partnerships that have come out. And also just a note, I was at a communications meeting yesterday, and someone made the comment that, you know, we have to remember that there are communities within the United States that have similar developing country issues. So, and also, could you speak a little bit about literacy, if that's ever been an issue, especially with your work with fraud design?
Okay. Okay, so let me do it in the reverse order. Talk about a little bit about literacy. We had at first we were a little bit worried about literacy issues because we use text as the main medium to be able to talk to people. And when I say text, I mean a display on a mobile phone, yeah? And even when we started our projects, we were thinking, well, audio might be best, yeah, because of the illiteracy gap that's there. You know, in the communities that we've been working in, over 40% of the people can be illiterate in those communities, yeah? And we started doing work with the illiterate people specifically. And what we found very, very quickly is illiteracy doesn't mean that the people are stupid, yeah? In fact, the illiterate people, what we found was they were excellent learners, yeah? And typically what they would do is once you actually demonstrated something to someone, they'd pick it up very, very quickly. And they had a really good sense to be able to remember key